Hello, welcome to Flutterbug Auto. Today I'm talking about Days of Thunder on the NES, a game I've had my eye on to check out for a while now. The first thing that's gonna catch your eye with this game is the let's be honest, absolutely fucking amazing 3D effect they've got going on. Like, this is the goddamn NES, and they have a 3D effect that's this smooth. People weren't even doing that shit on the Super NES, let alone the NES. Absolute wizardry afoot here. My guess as to how it's working is definitely, you know, some mapper chip shenanigans. Tiles being swapped out on the fly. But again, they're so smooth, and there's so many different tiles. It boggles the mind. It almost seems like some kind of FMV type thing going on. And like, the other part that just completely blows my mind about it is the clearly legible text on the side of the track that says pits. Like, the checkerboard patterns and such, I can kind of imagine how that's done. My brain can compute how that's possible, but the text is just, that's another level. I also wanted to like talk about some details of how it actually works. But to my surprise, I wasn't able to find anyone explaining how it works anywhere. I did find on the cutting room floor some really funny images that are left in the game that you can access with the cheat code, so there's that. And also, it was kind of hard to look into at all because a prototype version was recently found and everything is clogged up with people talking about that. Most of the search results for Days of Thunder come up with the prototype. I managed to find other people like me who were wondering about it, but no explanations anywhere. So if you happen to know anyone who likes to get into technical details of NES games and their graphical effects, go let them know that there's a spot open for someone to explain this game's effects. The graphics in general are really good. I also really enjoyed the little cutscene before races with the motorbike pulling up. It looks so good for the NES. Developers were truly cooking late in that console's lifespan. In terms of playing the game, it doesn't quite hold up for me though. The handling is a bit rough and involved a lot of fluttering my thumb across the A and B buttons to like brake on and off a lot to modulate my speed, and it was kind of just not that engaging, honestly, and also hurt my thumb a lot, which is maybe a me issue, but still, I wanted to mention it. Plus, the car is like made of glass and construction paper, I think, because it deteriorates so fast. Like, I know they're trying to do a NASCAR simulation, and it's the NES, so they have to really truncate everything into a small package. But it was still on the obnoxious side how quickly the car falls apart and needs repairs. That brings me to an interesting aspect of the game, which is the interactive pit stops. I was completely taken aback by it when I first encountered it. I had no idea it was part of the game. I needed to go look at the manual to figure out how to do it. Wow, what a concept, reading the manual for a game. So like, I like the concept. Really cute concept. However, it's so clunky and annoying to play. Like, the NES often runs into the issue of having only 2 buttons to really work with. So you cycle through all your pit crew guys with the B button, and you can't really select the order in which you choose them. It just cycles in a set order. And I often would have to cycle through them more than I wanted to, because in trying to do it fast, because it's a pit stop, I'd overshoot and have to go back around the bend again. Plus, your little guys have collision with each other, and you have to manually walk them to the other side of the car, and it ends up feeling like a bit of a mess. Though again, I like the concept, and I did have some fun trying to get faster at it every time I tried it. But also, personally, I think I'd rather just race when I'm playing a racing game. I prefer having the pit crew just do their own thing and I focus on the race. You know, like I would if I was a real race car driver. In a real race, you don't have to sit there and command your pit crew's every move. The tracks are also very samey, basically only distinguished by the number of turns and the color palette. Don't you enjoy racing under the cursed blood red sky? also it's really funny because this is a NASCAR simulation, and if you come in anything less than first place, your character is so dejected. But it's like, it's a big NASCAR race. You're not gonna win all of those. In fact, winning them is like a big deal. So like, it just looks like a really extremely sore loser, and it's really funny. All of this said, had I been a kid in 1990, I think this would have blown my socks off. I think for the time and on the NES, this would have been an incredible NASCAR racing simulation. Though I did similarly get to be impressed when I was a kid by the EA Sports NASCAR game on the PlayStation that my grandpa showed me. So I can perfectly imagine the feeling this game must have given. And even in my adult life, I also was similarly impressed by NASCAR Heat 5 recently. That game does such a good job making you feel like a real race car driver. It really brought me back to those excited feelings from my childhood. Nowadays, NASCAR is not my favorite thing ever when it comes to race car stuff, but I do love a good NASCAR game from time to time. But yeah, the game is also a really good port of the PC original. It's basically as one-to-one as you can get, going from DOS to NES. The original has exactly the same gameplay, down to the pit stops and everything, just with higher fidelity graphics and proper 3D. I'm honestly really impressed with what they were able to pull off here. Plus, also in 2011, they did another Days of Thunder game to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the movie it's from, and apparently it was complete ass. The game barely got any reviews, and all of the ones it did get are negative. So there's that. Unfortunately though, in terms of NES racing games, it just really doesn't stack up. And despite the cool visuals, it's just not one that you're gonna want to play over anything else. Like on the NES, you've got your Rad Racer, you've got RC Pro-Am, stuff like that. Stuff it's just absolutely not going to be up to par with. And I'd also definitely recommend the other NES racer I've covered, Jenny Sullivan's Indie Heat, over this one, no question. All in all, I had a fun time checking it out for a little while, marveling at its graphics, but I don't think it's one I'm gonna want to return to. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments what you think of this one. And also let me know if you know how 3D Effect works. I really want to know. And I've got plenty more racing content on the way, so I'll see you soon!